Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a pivotal, yet often overlooked, moment in history, the shipwreck that changed the course of the New World. We're talking about Christopher Columbus's flagship, the Santa Maria, and its dramatic end on Christmas Day, 1492. So, picture this, it's the dead of night, Christmas Eve, off the coast of what we now know as Haiti. The sea is calm, and after months of grueling travel, the crew is exhausted. Columbus, feeling the calm is a good sign, decides to get some sleep, leaving a young cabin boy at the helm. This was a fatal mistake. The gentle currents carried the Santa Maria silently onto a sandbank. The boy felt the rudder catch and cried out. Columbus and the crew scrambled on deck, but it was too late. The ship was stuck fast. The impact wasn't violent, but the situation was dire. The wooden hull groaned as the tide began to fall, causing the ship's timbers to split open. Frantic efforts to pull her free failed. The Santa Maria, the largest of the three ships in Columbus's first voyage, was doomed. As Christmas morning dawned, the flagship was irreparably damaged, listing heavily in the surf. This wasn't just the loss of a ship, it was a crisis that threatened the entire expedition. They were thousands of miles from home, with one less vessel to carry everyone back. Facing this disaster, Columbus had to think fast. He wasn't just an explorer, he was a leader in a desperate situation. He sent a delegation to the local Taino leader, a cacique named Guacanagari. According to Columbus's own journal, Guacanagari was incredibly sympathetic. He reportedly wept upon hearing the news and sent his people in large canoes to help unload the ship's precious cargo. The Taino worked diligently alongside the Spanish sailors, salvaging everything they could from the stricken vessel: food, supplies, cannons, and trade goods. Remarkably, Columbus noted that not a single item was stolen, a testament to the Taino's integrity. But what do you do with a shipwreck on a remote island? You can't just leave it there. This is where Columbus's resourcefulness, or perhaps his opportunism, kicked in. He saw the wreck not just as a loss, but as an opportunity. The sturdy timbers of the Santa Maria, its planks and nails, could be repurposed. He decided to build a settlement, the very first European structure in the Americas. He named it La Navidad, or Christmas, in honor of the day the ship was lost. It was a fort, a symbol of a permanent Spanish presence. The cannons salvaged from the ship were mounted on its walls, not just for defense, but as a powerful statement of European military technology. This decision led to another crucial moment. With the Santa Maria gone, there wasn't enough room on the two remaining ships, the Nina and the Pinta, for everyone to return to Spain. So, Columbus had to leave some men behind. He asked for volunteers, and about 39 men agreed to stay at La Navidad. They were tasked with a clear mission: to fortify the settlement, search for the source of the Taino's gold, and maintain friendly relations with the local people until Columbus returned on his next voyage. These men became the first European colonists in the New World. They were left with supplies, seeds for planting, and the promise of a glorious return. On January 4th, 1493, Columbus set sail for Spain aboard the Nina, leaving the men of La Navidad to their fate. Imagine the mix of emotions for those left behind: fear, excitement, uncertainty. They were on the frontier of a world completely unknown to them. When Columbus finally returned to Hispaniola nearly a year later, in November 1493, he expected to find a thriving outpost, Instead, he was met with a scene of utter devastation. La Navidad had been burned to the ground. There were no survivors. The fort was a ruin, and the bodies of the 39 settlers were scattered around the area. What had happened? The story, pieced together from accounts given by Guacanagari and other Taino, is a tragic one. After Columbus left, the Spanish settlers' discipline collapsed. They began to fight amongst themselves, driven by greed for gold and power. They ignored their orders to stay together and roamed the island, mistreating the Taino people, stealing their food, and taking their women. Their behavior shattered the initial goodwill that had been established. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into history. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video.